All right. The Dark Valley. Turn 3. August 1941 is complete. Okay, so already learning in this game here. The Germans, and I think of Gary Grigsby's War in the East when I do this, except for in that game you have to attack to eliminate those cut-off units. You have to attack them. Of course, the attacks are pretty easy. This game here is definitely a game of movement. Get a hole, encircle, cut them off, get them isolated, keep them isolated, and then they just disappear. So, in a sense, the Germans don't have to do combat if they can pocket units. I know they have to have something adjacent to them when the attrition segment comes, and to eliminate them from being isolated. So, okay, learned that early, and I've tried to apply a lot of that. All right, so let's see what's going on. All right, down in the south. Well, the Romanians are now sitting on top of Odessa. Now, here's what happened. Those three hexes right there, where that 3-4 is, the blank one next to the supply depot, and the blank one right there. There were Russian units there. And I had to do the counterattacks, the mandated counterattacks. And those guys had I think I got a 1-2 in there, and they rolled a 1 and it eliminated them. I actually had 2 attacks like that where the attacker got eliminated. I was thinking for maybe a step loss, or maybe they ended up having to back off, or just, or maybe they would split. But it didn't, and there were 5 units? 6 units. No, 5 units got eliminated right there. So naturally, when the regular move turn came up for the Axis, the Romanians were able to move in, cut these units off, which, by the way, I got to check supply on those right there. No, because that happened after logistics. And they're not isolated because they can trace a line of communication straight up, because I left that stinking area open. Normally, you wouldn't want to put a supply depot up there next to units like that. But you don't lose them. They just get pushed back if they get hit. So I might as well extend that supply line as far as I can. I don't know. Maybe there needs to be another rule for that. Okay, let's see. These units here, they're still just out of supply because they can get their line of communication. Remember, line of communication is not any particular number of hexes, whereas supply is. So they're out of supply, and they've been out of supply for a while. And I actually added a couple more there. But we're trying to get them cut off as best we can with the Germans. Kiev now has two infantry corps in there. So they got 10 strength points sitting in there. I got to do something so they don't get cut off. The Russians do get another large bolt. Plus they get a guard unit or 2 coming up on this next turn. So they'll come in. Stavka's on the board. I got to learn how to use the Stavka reserve, because I deployed everything. And then when I decided I needed to use the Stavka chip, I didn't have anything over there that I could just throw in. But I don't really have my Stavka units... Zukov for the Stavka, I don't have them in position yet. I got to move them up, I think. I got to learn how to use them. Got to use the air supply. So this stack right here actually has a mech unit that is being air resupplied. So I figured out the rule on this. Okay, so you get 6 of these air supply markers, that teal colored one with the -2 movement points. Simple marker, and serves its purpose well. So you can fly there's a turn that you use that for, where you can fly supply to mech units. Okay? They don't have to be in towns or cities. They just have to be within range of an air unit. So, which would be these bases pretty much, okay? And you can supply per turn 6 steps of out of supply mechanized units, not motorized, okay? So there's 1 in there, and then there's a motorized unit underneath that's out of supply. I think there's 2 actually that are out of supply. They won't be shortly. They'll come back. And then up top here, you've got 2 in each stack that are mechanized that were out of supply. So I have one still left to use, and I didn't need it. So that's pretty cool. That simplifies that rule. And you, like I said, there's a certain term when you can use it. I can't remember which one it is off the top of my head. The supply markers are finally starting to move forward. You've got 2 down here. Got 1 down here moving towards Odessa. Got 1 moving through the Pripyat marshes. And like I said, they move along the rail lines. You got this one up here supporting Army Group Center. And then you got the one up here in Dvinsk, which I believe is where Manstein broke across quickly when Barbarossa started. I think he actually took that bridgehead and got across. And then you got the one again, once again, doesn't matter if you move them up there or not. If they move over to hit him, you just bump them back behind on the rail line. So, okay, so Riga got taken without a loss. So now that's added a victory point, and that is now a supply base. So that's a plus. The Soviets are going to start to try to build around Leningrad. Still got to do something with this pocket. That's great terrain. You don't really get anything from the woods other than mechanized units are halved. So, but I do know that rough terrain over there, yeah, that's a 1 shift on rough terrain. And in mountainous stuff, the defenders are doubled. Troops moving up from Moscow. Like I said, get a bunch more this turn. They don't start getting replacements, though, until October. So that's 2 turns away. Other than that, did a bombard here, caught that unit and actually hit him. Burned three of the 5 air units in bombardments. I even used 1 and 2. And that's really cool. You can, each phase, you can apply these air units as long as they're not on their done side. So like I said, that's just an awesome setup for the use of the air power. A lot of times you play a game and you have so many air units you need to manage that sometimes you just don't do it. You forget about them. You don't use them. But this game here, it could not get any more simple, and I don't think any more effective. Like I say, Ted's done a great job with this game. Now, I've got his War in Europe set up over here, or his Great War in Europe. I got the East Front map set up over here on another table, which I'm going to be getting into that soon, having to do a little research there. But I can't wait to see what that does. And I got his 1914, I believe that's his series. Or is it Unconditional Surrender, his series? I don't know. It's one of those, but I'm looking forward to anything that has his name on it now that is World War I, World War II. I don't know if he does any Civil War, Napoleonic stuff, but I'm looking forward to it. All right, so let's take a look at the casualties here. And you can see the use of the chits, how they come out. The counterattack chit there, when you draw this counterattack chit, you roll 2d6, and I think the minimum in the early stages is 6. So whatever you roll on that 2d6 is how many mandatory counterattacks they have to make. So you just put that on the board and you start working your way down. And like I say, right now they have to do at least 6. And they have to do it or else you start stealing steps or getting rid of steps. Victory points went up another, well, with Minsk also and Riga now. They went up. But that's how the chits drew. Here's the casualties. Combat losses. The Germans did lose a step. I think they lost a few steps, but that one got eliminated. Russians are getting a little smaller in what they've lost. And then their isolated units, they lost those 6 steps. So 4.5 total units, I guess, or 5 total units altogether. So that number is even smaller. Probably a few more here shortly. Got a mixed turn coming up next as far as the weather goes. Germans will still have the initiative. Mixed has a little effect. I got to look on that a little bit. And I got to go see what that gray star is for. All right. Anyhow, that's the end of turn 3. And I'm going to tell you right now, I've only played 3 turns. If you don't have this game and you want a very, very good system, go get online, find this thing, order the deluxe edition. I think GMT is still selling that right now. You can buy the deluxe edition, which the map is a little different, and it's a hard-backed map. And I think the counters are thicker. These counters are a little thin, but for me, they're fine. I use tweezers most of the time anyhow. All right. As soon as we get through the September 41 turn, we'll get back to you. Thanks for watching. Hey, remember, if you like it, click like, please. It lets me know that I'm doing something right. If you want to keep up to date, click subscribe. Hey, and any comments, put them in there. Let me know what I'm doing wrong, or if I'm doing something right. Then make my head swell a little bit, or put me in tears, whichever you want to do. All right, thanks all. Talk to you later.